exciting stuff for you tonight. As always, take a minute to share this video. We have got to wake people up. It is time. Remember that we are on Facebook, Rumble, Gab, Truth, Getter, and Telegram as well. Twitter also. We have a chat room on Telegram, so you can come on over there and ask your questions. A couple of hot items that you guys need to know about. We have breaking news out of the Supreme Court. They have docketed the Brunson brothers' second case, and that one's under Loy Arlen Brunson's name, as Loy Arlen Brunson versus Alma S. Adams at Al Supreme Court of the United States, case 22-1028. A couple of other quick important items that you need to know about. J6er Jeremy Brown has been moved to Citrus County. He is here in Citrus County. I'm going to get the opportunity to speak with him in person on Monday, and hopefully I'll be bringing you some information on him. But tonight we've got Andrew Sheets out of Charlotte County, and man, he's got a lot to talk about. So let's get him in here and get going. Hey, Andrew, how are you?
Good and bad. As we know, our country and the world is taking a dump, so that's the bad. But yeah, I got a hold of you because I wanted to update people on a quick update on my federal case against the judge, and also I need to make a couple comments on the Supreme Court, like you were just talking about. I cannot believe why didn't the Republicans do this when they were in power, get this stuff to the Supreme Court? But there is two huge issues that are at the Supreme Court right now. I don't know if you saw one. They just brought to the Supreme Court that does the city and the county, they just had the hearing on it, have the right, if you don't pay your taxes, they're going to go after your house, right? Well, then they take your house, then they sell your house. They're keeping the profit on the house. They're supposed to give that back. That just went to the Supreme Court. Are you aware?
I think I caught a link about it somewhere, but I didn't read it, so fill us in.
All right, so yeah, they just had their arguments, and now you got to wait for a month to 2 months for the decision, but it's a great argument. I highly recommend looking into that. The other one is what is that one called where they can just take your stuff because they think it's with a drug deal? Do you get one? You know which one I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember the name of it. Anyways, that is finally going to the Supreme Court also.
Good.
Okay, because you know and I know they can't just take your shit just because they think that, it's connected with the drug deal, and they're doing it all the time.
We don't even know that they think that. We
What's
know
that?
that they say that.
Right. Civil asset forfeiture. That's what that was.
Yeah.
Yes. So, they're abusing that because, the feds are making money off that. Our police are making money. The sheriffs it's disgusting. Really, really bad. It almost costs you more money to get it back. So here's a quick update on my case. Sadly, they're still dragging it on. They keep moving the date. But the other day, they did make an offer, for the free speech case. I was illegally, charged, arrested, found guilty, did time, 30 days in jail for free speech on a sidewalk. I'm still working through crap on probation and supposed violation of probation. So I was supposed to have a hearing last week. They did another plea deal. The last plea deal was if I quit my free speech online, I can be done with it. And, of course, we said no. And then apparently because we didn't take that, this time they offered if I plead guilty to both charges on a violation of probation, I can have more probation. And my lawyer said no. And so we thought we were going to go to court finally. And then at the last minute, he called me up. He said somebody was sick, so they had to call off court. Later that night, we found a posting on the court that said recusal. And, some of your people know, I filed 2 recusals on this judge for all the bias. And not only just the bias, as I mentioned in the beginning, I sued the judge for violating free speech. And he still wouldn't get off the case after filing 2 recusals. But after Wednesday night, out of the blue, he finally recused himself.
Okay, Andy, I need to back up a minute. For those people that are seeing you maybe for the first time or don't know what's going on in Charlotte County, I want to walk back to your free speech on the sidewalk case.
Correct.
Tell us exactly what happened from the very beginning.
So yeah, they banned free speech here, and I fought it. I got 8 tickets, and for free speech, thousands of dollars of fines.
Did they
And
literally write free speech on your ticket?
no,
What would they call it?
what's that?
What did they call it?
They said a violation of the ordinance that they made for any word that they don't like. They would never give us a list of, but basically, if it was an F word, if it was a supposed bad word, they gave you a ticket. So I was fighting all that. I sued them twice, once in state court with Rutherford Institute, the second time in federal court with one of the tickets with Rutherford. Well, it started out with another lawyer, finished with Rutherford. And anyways, won the appeal in state court. Then because we won the appeal in state court, the federal court suit, they settled out of court because we already won the state. And then, I won that, and they got rid of the illegal ordinance. But because I sued them twice, in my opinion, they took one of my protests, which was, I will be honest, on a sidewalk in front of a school, on a sidewalk, public sidewalk, and I was protesting many different topics. And the last one that they popped me on, and they didn't even pop me on it that day, they popped me on it later, was I was protesting abortion, and they turned it into a crime. We literally have the email where they literally said, if you can find enough people to complain, we'll turn it into a crime, disturbing the peace, and that's exactly what they did.
So they found enough people to complain.
Yes.
You were disturbing the peace, and that's what they actually charged you
That
for.
is correct.
Were you speaking or just carrying a sign?
Of course, I was speaking. If anybody spoke to me, then I would speak to them. And there was counter protesters there that day, and the
How many tickets did they get?
Huh?
How many tickets did they get?
That's why I was telling this part of the story. So, in court, the prosecutor literally told the jury that the counter protesters were disturbing the peace, but since I incited them into disturbing the peace, I was guilty.
You incited the counter protest.
Yeah, you ever heard of that one? I haven't.
I think I just heard of it recently. I think there's another case of that recently somewhere, but I don't remember for sure, so don't quote me on it. So what was the outcome of that case?
Yeah, I was found guilty, and then unbeknownst to me, they put a no contact order for a building. And the day I was found guilty, I made a video about losing the free speech case, come to Punta Gorda to protest, and they said that violated that. And then also, unbeknownst to me, that if you go on probation for a misdemeanor in Florida, they can take your guns. And I asked if I could keep my guns because I've been assaulted many times. And the probation officer said no. So the minute I got the email that he said no, I gave them to my friends, and they still charged me anyways.
Charged you with what?
Having a gun while on probation.
How can they do that if they don't have any guns? So is that something that's settled, or are you fighting that one too?
No, that one sadly is in the probation statute for Florida. There's a list of 11 things that they can get you on, and that's one of them.
But they can get you on it without proving it.
And unbeknownst to me, like I said, they put a no contact order on me. And like I said, I was in a fog because I just lost a case of free speech. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that it's been a nightmare. The good news is, I forgot to mention this, is, so now I have a new lawyer. We're hoping he's way better, and he should be way better on the last one. And also on the 18th, in the 6th District Court of Florida, at 9 a.m., we finally have my appeal, and anybody can watch it, anybody can film it and repost it. So my lawyer gets 20 minutes, the other side gets 20 minutes, and then, we got to wait for, another month after that for a decision. He said it's very rare we get a decision that day.
So that's May 18th at 9 a.m. Letting everybody know that we will broadcast that live.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yes.
Let me real quickly here. What is May 8th? What's the count? What's the
May
calendar?
8th.
I mean, May 18th is what day of the week?
I don't.
Let
What
me
is
take
it?
a look here. May 18th, ladies and gentlemen, is Thursday morning. We're going to put that on the calendar right now,
All right.
9
Yes. There you
a.m.
go.
to
Correct.
broadcast Andrew Sheets
Correct.
court case. Now, isn't there another date as well?
The other dates I gave you, I do not want to discuss on this video.
Okie dokie then. We won't discuss those.
You know, let's not discuss those dates, but we can discuss what we were discussing, which is if there is information that's publicly available on a court website for a Zoom hearing, do you have the right to go?
Well, I would think if it's publicly available on a court site with Zoom, you would have every right to go, particularly if they put the meeting ID and password out.
And they did. So I'm working that day, and so that's why I've mentioned it to other people. And this is why I think those court dates, and let's not get into it. We're having conversation, but those court dates are, I didn't tell you about this. Those court dates for depots are related to people that went filming the police at the Punta Gorda police station, and they turned it into a crime. Two of them were assaulted. Well, one of them was assaulted by the cops. Another one picked up a camera that fell off a cop. He thought it was one of the auditor's cameras. Anyways, they charged two people with felonies for filming inside a police station lobby.
Really?
It is ridiculous. You know and I know you have the right to record police, and the police turned it into a crime. So those are the depots for the cops that were there that day, and I would love to hear what they had to say, because this has been going on for way too long. I think I mentioned to you, I've lost count of how many trespasses I've got from the city of Punta Gorda, Charlotte County, just for filming public officials in a public place.
Yeah, well, I've broadcast a couple of your videos as well.
And by the way, I forgot to mention this too. So when I was on probation, we believe the sheriff did try to violate my probation by giving me a trespass for filming in his sheriff's office while I was asking for a record request. And my appeals lawyer for the free speech case, when he saw what happened there, he said, I want to take that case because I've been wanting to challenge this forever. And what he means by that, in the Florida statute for trespassing, what is missing in that statute? In every statute in Florida, what has to be in there in that statute?
I have no idea, but I know you're fixing to tell me.
Redress. Appeal. Every statute has to have a way to appeal it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. The statute for trespass has none. So how do you challenge it? So basically, my sheriff.
I would take it. If it were me. I'm just saying, I'd go constitutionally, skip circuit, and go straight to district and file against my rights.
So we did file the appeal, even though there's no way to appeal. We filed a writ of mandamus and a writ of certiorari, I think it was. My lawyer's like 65, 70 years old. He's been doing this a long time. He said he's never, ever had a case on appeal like this that they didn't touch it. It's been in the court system for 4 months now, and they don't want to touch it. And we believe because he touched the third rail, which means nobody's challenged this until now. This is a big deal. They need to
I agree. I think so too.
They need to change the law, because now you're going to give the government to in fact, now that we're talking about this, guess what just happened before I got on with you? 2 days ago in Pasco County at the DMV, Unbeknownst to this guy that goes there, he's an auditor. His YouTube channel is called Cammed Up Caveman. Okay,
Cammed, spell it, C-A.
Cammed Up Caveman.
Okay.
CAMED, and then up Caveman. So he went into the DMV, into the public area, filming, and he found out they made a new policy, which are trying to connect with the law for the DMV, which says that they can't disseminate information. That law is for the workers, not for regular people. Okay,
That's correct.
So he went in there, and unbeknownst to him, they made a new policy. You cannot record. He has been trespassed for life from all DMVs in Pasco.
Really?
Is that insane?
Is he fighting that, or is he? What's the story on that?
He is poor. He's just trying to get out the information. He's trying to decompress right now for today. He's going to try to get back to me tomorrow to let me know more information. But that is a mess, man. Unbelievable. And now that we're talking about this, I got to tell you another one. There's so much crap since the last time we talked.
Yeah, I want to hear it all, every bit of it.
All right. This is related to trespass. Rutherford Institute called me and emailed me that in the 8th District Court, they just had a case law that came down that literally talks about exactly this. You cannot be trespassed from a government building unless you're like a freaking terrorist. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because government buildings deal with you, correct?
Yep.
You have to go there to pay taxes or get a license plate or whatever, make a record request, right? Okay, they cannot trespass. And this guy it's in the 8th District, whatever they call it. Anyways, we're in the 11th. That one happened in the 8th. So this guy didn't like what the government was doing, so he was making comments online. And then he was also making comments when he went to city council. And just because he did that, he was trespassed. And he took it to court. Well, actually, he went, oh my God, he went through a bunch of crap before he made it to the 8th District, or the 8th Circuit. And everybody kept saying the government can do it. And when it finally got up to the 8th Circuit, they said, you cannot do this. You're a government building. You are supposed to be able to let these people do government business. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So,
he's got a lawsuit now, right?
Oh, big time. Big.
But the problem is are people like him and like you having trouble finding attorneys that'll handle these cases?
Sadly, yes, absolutely. There's not enough lawyers to go around. But you already do know that, one of the big heavy hitters right now is Institute for Justice. You know about them, right?
Yep.
They're huge. Rutherford helps out when they can. Rutherford already told me, if and when we beat the appeal, that if I can find another lawyer, because the other lawyer that I was helping, he's too busy with other stuff, that they'll take the case for the illegal arrest. But yeah, there's not enough lawyers to go around. I believe that America's just freaking lost its mind. I mean, look what they did to Trump, right? How many 35 charges? You don't even really know what the charge is. And then he's got how many other states that want to charge him too? If you are the tip of the spear, like, they said this right after Trump made a statement, there is I think they said 300,000 laws on the book, local, state, and federal, that they can fry you with if you're tip of the spear. They're using law enforcement and prosecutors to crucify you and put you on a cross like Jesus Christ, correct?
That's correct. They are, absolutely.
Is that not exactly what they did to January 6ers?
That's exactly what they did. Absolutely.
Didn't even have a chance to bond out. They had to sit in there forever before trial. It is unbelievable. So bad.
Well, I know that So we've got the one guy with the horns. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, he got out.
He got out because there was a video produced that Tucker Carlson put out that showed that he was literally walking through the Capitol he was being escorted.
That's correct.
So he got out, but all the rest of them are still sitting there because they didn't have video the way he did.
That is correct.
This is insanity.
Absolute insanity.
And every time I talk to an organization, they say, well, we need to vote him out. How has that worked for you for 200 years? That is not fixing the problem. So
Correct.
down there in Charlotte County, you guys got a few patriots that are managing to get under the skin of some of the government, right?
Correct. Yes.
And do they all belong to like a Republican club, or are they just all wild cards?
They're all over the place. Libertarians, Republicans. There's even a couple Democrats, that are fighting for freedom. I personally know a court watcher from New York that he, his wife passed. He's older, and he is a hardcore court watcher, and he lets them know that he's there. He's watching. He talks to the judges, the prosecutors, the cops, the lawyers. So when I told him what happened with my case, and that I got this new this new judge, he thinks hopefully it'll go well now, but we will see. I don't know. And again, like I said, look what they did to Trump. Look what they did to January 6ers. Look what they did to, like I said, the guy that I just told you about in the beginning of this. A guy was filming a prison, and they found him guilty for filming a prison. Are you serious?
What was the actual charge? Do you have any idea? Did they call it filming a prison?
They are supposedly saying that if you're too close to prisoners at the prison, if you can see them from outside in the parking lot, whose fault is that? The prison. Right. Yes. Exactly. Mm-hmm. So, and again, I believe he kept it secret because, like I said, when you look at the case, oh my God, they pulled a lot of stuff. I think if people would started doing redress, I don't know what would happen.
People have got to start doing redress. They've got to start learning to write their own documents. They've got to start doing some sui juris stuff, and they've got to go redress. We have to do something. We cannot sit on our laurels any longer.
Right.
These people are trust indentured servants who are elected to protect us and protect our rights. And the second they're elected, they do exactly the opposite.
Right. Correct. I agree.
What are you looking for?
This is how bad it is. The person that I was just talking about,
you need a link? Send to him? Is he around?
Okay, wait a minute. I found it.
I believe you can screen share on that side if you want to.
No, I got it. I'm just checking. He just said okay, there you go, gone. So that's how much he's scared of the government. He just said take it down.
Really?
That's how bad this is. Redress is gone.
Wow. Wow. So you got to have some more folks down there in Charlotte County. What's the plan? Are we going to get together? What's the fighting plan? There has to be a fighting plan.
I don't know, and I'm still not done actually catching up with you. Are you ready for the next part?
I am. Let's do it.
All right. So there are people here fighting. One guy's name is Dave Kalin, and he. Oh my God, he's doing great work. He used to be a commissioner up north. Then he came down here. He ran for commissioner. He lost. Now he's running for supervisor of election, and he is making changes. There's a road that's really bad, and he made a big enough noise that they're going to change the speed. They're going to change lane changing. They're going to put speed cameras up everywhere. So we do have people here fighting. I'm not the only one, but getting back to catching up with you. So Okay, I found out a month and a half or 2 months ago that there's a place called Sons of Confederate Veterans. Have you ever heard of it?
No, Sons of Confederate Veterans.
That's correct. They were at Arcadia and for their pioneer days, and uh, and they had a wall for all the Confederates that died during the war, and and that intrigued me. And they were also fighting to keep up the Southern monuments, because you know and I know if you erase history, you're damned to repeat it. Correct?
Oh, absolutely.
So I found out that they had a meeting. There is a local group here. They had a meeting, and it was this past. Was it this past? God, time flies so fast. Okay, yeah, this past Saturday. And before I went to the meeting, they have a meet and greet, and then they have a meeting. I'm getting old, man. I really am. What's your name? So, anyways, so before I went to the meeting, I looked on her Facebook page, and I did not know about this, and it was all over the news. I didn't know that one of their members is a teacher at the Collier County Schools, and he's a history teacher. And not that there's anything wrong with it. He's a Jew too, so he knows about history and how you got to remind people, correct? So, being a history teacher, whatever the and I know that there's for our government there's a month for everything, right? And there's a month for BLM, there's a month for LGBTQ, Christian, whatever, okay, Black history. So this month was Confederate month, and he did a small little video, all from Florida government websites on Confederatism and Confederates, and what happened here, and what it's about. And just because he did a 2-minute video, one of the teachers, oh shit, what am I trying to say? One of the liberal teachers took it, put it on TikTok, and said, "Look, they're teaching Confederatism, which is racism." That's the way they pushed it.
Oh, wait a minute. Do you want me to play that? I think
yes, I do. Yes, you need to play that.
Hold on. Let me play that.
Okay, yeah, they need to see that. Then they're going to see how bad.
All right, let's see. I gotta. So let's see. I do have that one. Let me find it for you real quick.
All right.
All right, there we go. We double check where we're at here because I don't want you and I in the picture. All right. All right, let's go.
NBC2 News at 11.
If you didn't know, April is an official celebrated month here in the state of Florida named Confederate History Month.
Some parents are calling this video Confederacy propaganda, and it was played in front of an entire school. Thanks for watching NBC2 Tonight. I'm Peter Bush. Collier County Public Schools say a teacher at Manatee Middle School put the video together to celebrate Confederate History Month, but they did so without permission. Tonight, NBC2's Gage Golding is local outside Manatee Middle, where parents want this teacher fired.
Well, you see, parents aren't upset with history being taught to their children. Actually, they encourage it. But to them, this video is the farthest thing from historically correct.
Every year, our state celebrates and memorializes that valiant, brave fight and the countless sacrifices made by our men and women during what is known as the Civil War.
A teacher here at Manatee Middle created this video, airing it during the morning announcements on Tuesday.
If you didn't know, April is an official celebrated month here in the state of Florida named Confederate History Month.
The teacher bills the video as a look into the state's recognition of Confederate History Month. Parents say it's pro-Confederate propaganda.
It was like very biased seeming.
To me, it looked like straight out of a Confederate sympathizer.
The Confederacy, as far as I'm concerned, has always been a stain on American history.
At one point in the video, the teacher suggests a different name for the Civil War.
But may be more correctly titled the War to Prevent Southern Independence.
No, it is The Civil War. It has always been called the Civil War.
Now, the problem here isn't talking about slavery, the Civil War, or our nation's darkest days. The issue is with what parents say the teacher made up and put in the video.
They spoke about celebrating the Confederacy in the state of Florida.
Annie O'Donnell says it's important for kids, her kids, to know our nation's history, but definitely not this way.
But I would find it difficult to imagine that the students here are going to be able to trust this particular teacher again.
Now, the district wouldn't say who this teacher is. However, a spokesperson did tell me that they still have a job while the school investigates. I'm reporting local tonight outside of Manatee Middle in Naples. Gage Golding, NBC2.
Okay, so here's the thing. People need to go actually check their history.
That's
there never
right.
was a civil war. The North was trying to stop the South from seceding. That's what was going on.
Well, not only that, a friend of mine told me about this. Lou Rockwell puts this letter out, and he goes to all the Civil War reenactments, and he gives this document out. Do you know one of the real reasons why they didn't want him to secede?
Yeah, it had to do with legislation.
Taxes. The South was producing 70% of the tax.
Yeah, and there was legislation enacted about that time. And there was being enacted about that time. That also, all of that ties into what actually happened, and people are just being fed propaganda now. I can't give you the genuine, actual, exact story without looking it up again, but it's funny because I just recently read it. And now I don't remember all the exact details. But yeah, go look up your history, folks, because you're being fed propaganda once again.
Yep.
And, you know, we have the propaganda machine that
Correct.
they call the school system. I do not understand why parents, any parent, would have their child in a public school at this point in time.
You mean indoctrination camp?
That's what I'm talking about.
Correct.
That's what I'm talking about, the propaganda machine.
And do you know why I call it a camp? You know, I mentioned before I just turned 58. I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan. And by the way, I was just up there a couple years ago sadly from my dad's funeral. The schools are still not surrounded by fence like they are here. They're still open and free. Okay? Here, Jesus Christ, man. The kid is not going to know the difference going from school, going to jail. He'll be like, shit, I can't leave this one. I can leave this one, but I can't leave that one. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
And so when I went to this meeting, you know, I asked the people. I said, "What's going on with this?" They said the speaker's going to be here. So me and the speaker, we hit it off big time. And I told him what I did, or what was happening in Punta Gorda. And then the people that run the meeting heard about what I did, and they're like, "We had no idea that happened to you." And they said, "Would you like to speak?" And I said, "Sure." So it was 1 hour, you know, a meet and greet, then 1 hour for speakers. We started early. Like I said, they only had 2 hours. The teacher's case is so bad, he took them an hour plus. I mean, I was floored when he was saying how bad it is. They are trying to fire him for free speech because they consider that Confederatism is racism. That's insane. You could actually say BLM is racist, correct?
Oh, no, it totally, completely is. Absolutely.
Correct. So, anyways,
Well, BLM is a full-on scam all the way anyway, Andy. BLM has taken in millions and millions and millions of dollars and has never spent one penny to help a single black person. Not one penny. It's documented.
Actually, that's not true. I was there for the BLM marches, and this is why I agreed with half their stuff. I'm not going to lie. I agreed with half their stuff because, like I told you before, and like I told you what's been happening to me, okay, I've been doing this 10 years. I've lost track of how many tickets for trespassing, tickets for free speech. If you went and pulled records from the Punta Gorda police, the city of Punta Gorda, Charlotte County government, Charlotte County sheriff, and the state attorney's office, how many times they've investigated me, you would, excuse my language, you would shit your pants. Full-blown harassment for freaking 10 years just because I expose corruption? You know, they investigate us, but we can't investigate them. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So, it's, and I think I mentioned it last time I was here. If you look up Florida slap suit, that's exactly what they're doing to me. It's when they use any cause of action to try to kill your free speech and free press, that's illegal. You can sue them for that. And in
Now,
fact,
Candace Owens just did a whole documentary on BLM.
what's that?
Candace Owens just did a whole documentary on BLM.
I did not see that, and like I said, half of what they're saying is true. You know, this is the part that I hate about right-wing radio. You know, I listen to right-wing radio during the day so I can keep, you know, make while I'm working, make the day go by. But I freaking, they don't get it. You know, they're, you know, we gotta crack down even more. Florida has the third most amount of people in jail and prison than the whole rest of the world.
Well, that's just legalized human slavery again.
Again, this is out of control. This isn't, no, and that's why the schools, and that's why I protested at the schools, because one of my protests was I said the schools look like prisons. What's the difference?
There is no difference. Okay, so the movie Candace Owens did is called, the documentary she helped produce is called The Greatest Lie Ever Sold, George Floyd and the Rise of BLM, and it is out. And people need to go watch it. BLM is a crock.
Well, and again, half of it is true. And proof of that is, again, like I said, look at what they're doing to Trump, correct? Mm-hmm. Look at what they did to January 6th. Do you trust your FBI anymore?
Absolutely not. They're not my FBI. They're not even chartered, Andy. You know that.
That is correct.
They don't even have a charter. They're an illegal organization.
And I don't know if you remember, I was gonna mention to you too, and I got him right to my left here. So I spoke at that meeting for only 20 minutes, and they supposedly want me back to finish my story, because they did not know about this, and I think I've mentioned it to you too. Are you aware of all the stuff the Republicans are trying to pass here to kill free speech? You are aware.
Do you have that bill handy? What's the title of that bill?
Okay, all right. Here's one of them right here. This one is not going too far. I checked on all three of them. This one's actually kind of, you know, he got crucified. This. It was SB 1316.
1316.
And that was the one where if you're a blogger, you have to register.
I remember that.
Yeah, that is totally insane. Okay, so that one I looked up and it's not really moving. But here's a one that is scary. Okay, you ready with your pen again?
Yep.
Bill SB 994. And so what that one is about, I think I told you about last time, a couple months ago. I don't know if they did it because I did it, but because of my idea. But one of my protests for free speech was with a laser, because it's just beautiful, man. It works. Everybody flips out when they see a laser on the side of a building that, you know, that's 20 feet by 20 feet. It's impressive.
Oh yeah.
So,
I know this one.
Anyways, there was some supposed right-wing Nazis that got a laser and did it, I think, in Jacksonville and West Palm Beach. They shined it on some buildings, and it was against the Jews. Okay? You know, especially West Palm Beach. I guess there's a bunch of Jews, and they were, like, freaking flipping out, pissed off. I'm not saying I support Nazis, but at the same time, they have free speech. Just
in
like
this country.
Just like the KKK. We literally got Supreme Court rulings that said even the KKK has free speech, right? That's just like the blacks have Black Panthers, which hate whitey, correct? Mm-hmm. They have free speech. Well, when the cops let them, and they don't bomb their city. But anyways, that's not funny. But it's funny, but it's not funny. But it's bad. Okay, you know the stories on it, right? And they literally burnt down a whole freaking neighborhood. It was You should watch that documentary. It is unbelievable bad, really bad. So, anyways, so because that happened, that they did a laser in that bill, it talks about how, and I think this is absolute bullshit. You cannot shine a laser on somebody's building, especially if it's supposedly racist, if you didn't ask. And here's why I think this is bullshit. That's like you driving down the road. What if your headlight hits a building? Okay. What if your headlight on the front of your headlight has a swastika, and it has a swastika everywhere? What if your headlight has a picture in front of it that's a cross? What if you put your light on an atheist house? You know what I'm saying? Okay? Here's another example I gave Rutherford, because they're the ones that told me about these bills too, is that if I protest in front of that building, what's the difference if it's a laser or me protesting there? Either way, the owner of the building's probably not going to like it, right?
Right.
But if I'm on a freaking sidewalk, is that legal?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So
well, it's supposed to be. I just saw a guy that got arrested outside of one of Rhino Ron's events on the sidewalk.
What was it called?
Rhino Ron DeSantis.
Okay, all right. Really? I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Here's what else is in the bill. If you supposedly follow a Jew with all of his garb on, like they do on Sundays or whatever day it is that they do their thing, you can be charged. A lot of these are felonies. When you're making special rules for people, that is crap. It should be, just like, murder should be murder. It shouldn't be, heightened just because it was, a supposed hate crime. You get what I'm saying? Murder is a murder. So here's another part of the bill that people don't know about. If you're handing out flyers and the person you give it to drops it, you will be charged.
Mm-hmm.
That is insane. So that bill is proceeding, and here's what's scary. There's a couple cities and counties that have already passed it.
Really?
It is unbelievable. So you're going to have a city and a county telling me what's racist and what's not? You get what I'm saying? And then, they're saying that you can't put it on a private building. Well, then let's put it on a government building. You get what I'm saying? That's government. That's the people's building, right?
It is the people's building.
In fact, the place where I was doing my laser was a government building. Okay? It was the event center. Charlotte County government built it. Period. Here's okay, we're getting down here. Here's one more bill that I need to tell you about. Okay, you got your pen ready?
Yep.
HB 991. And that one's called, this is insane, defamation, false light, and unauthorized publication of name or likeness. Did you hear about that one?
No, I have not.
Okay, they're trying to kill the Florida slap suit statute. Okay, they're trying to say that if you talk about a government person and they don't like it, they can sue you. That's the reason why we have the Florida slap suit right now, is so the government can't sue you, because they were suing you before if they didn't like your speech, which is insane. The government is supposed to support free speech and redress, correct?
Correct.
And they're not. It is unbelievable. That bill is proceeding. It is going through. It's not gone through, but it's going through. So,
boy, they're trying to do everything to shut people down.
Literally. And like I mentioned too, a lot of the yes, you are right, Haney Cats. Thank you. I did not know you could do that. Very interesting. Yes, they are trying to kill free speech. Only, we're turning into China. We're turning into
Oh, yeah.
Russia, North Korea, Cuba. And I just saw a video right before we came on here. It's a YouTube channel called San Joaquin Valley. He's an auditor. He just did a video on the cops are now using you know and I know that they can't violate the Fourth Amendment, but they do all the time, right?
Right.
Okay. If something happened in a certain area, you know and I know that all these companies are data mining your phone stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're claiming that they can't tell it's you, but he just did a story on this. It's called Fog. I will tell you what it's called. It's called Fog Reveal. FogReveal.com. If you Google that right now, there's a bunch of stories on it. This company is scraping all this data from all the phone companies, and they're saying that you can't find out who you are. But this guy, a lot of news agencies are doing a story on this. They can find
Well, they
out.
absolutely can, because that's what they're using now for crimes.
That is correct, and it's violating the Fourth Amendment.
The ping thing.
It's
They buy the ping data.
They literally can find out what you've been doing for the day, for the week, for the month with this data scraping. It is unbelievable. Yep. Very, very, very scary without a warrant.
Mm-hmm.
So, so you got 13 minutes left. I don't want to suck up all the air in the room. What are you doing?
Well, I wish I could show you, but I actually don't have the video cut to show you. I spoke at the Board of County Commissioners this past Tuesday. I read from the Constitution, the ethics portion of the Constitution, and then I had a nice big poster that I produced that talked about, let me see if I can find this real quick, that talked about one of the commissioners who did not recuse. So there's a commissioner that we have up here,
right?
Who took money from a resort for her campaign. And the resort happens to have an island, and on the island there's some wild monkeys that have been there for 20, 30, 40 years. I don't know how long, but the monkeys and the island were purchased with the resort.
Right.
So the commissioner that received the money, the island, listen, Henny Cat says, oh, I know. Everybody up here knows the story.
Very good.
So they turned the island into a nonprofit with the monkeys. So they've been conning the public out of money to refurbish this island for the monkeys that a multi-million-dollar corporation owns.
Wow.
So they put the island into a nonprofit, which is managed. The president of that nonprofit is the exact same person as the manager of the corporation who gave the commissioner money, and she did not recuse herself. She voted to give the nonprofit with the same person $93,000 of our tax money to refurbish the island that the monkeys on, that the multi-million-dollar corporation bought. And then when they decide to dissolve the nonprofit, then that island will automatically go back to the multi-million-dollar corporation under the same name as it was originally.
Wow.
So nice neat little circle package we got going.
All right, so what can you do to them for that?
Well, I would say it's an ethics violation, but frankly, right now all I'm doing is exposure, because I'm working on something much, much bigger than that I am not at liberty yet to discuss, because we are writing legal documents for that as we speak.
Right.
There's something much larger coming down the pike. And yeah, I'll tell you about it. I can't speak about it online, of course. But yeah, there's something much bigger coming down the pike.
Very, very good.
We're holding them accountable. We're busting them when they're violating ethics or personal rights or liberties, or if they violate any of their own statutes or ordinances. One of the things that is a myth that these public officials believe is that, and I have it right here somewhere, is that they have immunity, complete immunity, and that is absolutely not.
That is not the case. That's correct.
That is absolutely not true, and so many of them don't know that. I think my book's in the other room, because I just read that case yesterday, as a matter of fact, Once they step outside the realm of the law,
Correct.
when they violate the law,
That's
they
correct.
automatically lose their immunity.
Correct.
And these people, like you were talking about, there's thousands and thousands of statutes and ordinances on the book.
Correct.
So every one of these statutes and ordinances they control you with,
Yes.
we control them with.
That's correct.
So once we troll them and they violate a law,
Right.
then we have the ability to financially go after them on an individual level. So that is the strategy that we're working on up here in Citrus County.
There
We're
might
writing
be
doc-
there
Go
might
ahead.
be another strategy too that you can use that the auditors were using against the cops. Ask for the policies and procedures for your government, police, and whatever. And there's a bunch of auditors that were taking those policies and procedures, and they were crucifying the cops with their own policies and procedures.
They can absolutely do that. Yeah, that's exactly what this plan basically is.
Right. All right. Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely. Yeah. What people don't seem to realize, or what people don't know, and it's just purely a lack of education, because we've been buffaloed for so long.
Right.
Statutes are actually are written under corporate laws.
Right.
And government is not actually government in the true sense of the word. Your local county government is actually an incorporated for-profit business.
Wow.
So they are the ones that are subject to those statutory laws. I just spent, and I can't show you, but I just spent a couple of days this week looking up all the Dun and Bradstreet numbers for corporations in my particular county. You know what a Dun and Bradstreet number is for, right? Okay, so it's for trading securities, stocks, bonds. And just a few of the ones that I found with the Dun and Bradstreet numbers: the Citrus County Sheriff's Office, Citrus County Libraries, Citrus County Parks and Rec Division, the Citrus County Speedway, Citrus County Tax Collector, Citrus County Library System, and I have much, much more than that.
Wow.
So all of these organizations that people think are government that they're funding are actually for-profit corporations, and they're making the money and stealing tax money from you as well.
Wow.
So we'll be educating people on that here real soon.
Right.
Takes a while to get all this stuff into place, you know, but all of that information is coming as well. Same goes for your peeps down there.
Right.
All your organizations down there, those that consider themselves or call, even your courts are for-profit organizations. Your DHS is for-profit organizations. Your child traffickers, your CPS,
DCF, correct.
Those your child trafficking organizations that pretend to help children are also for-profit or non-government organizations.
Wow.
All of them.
Very, very sad. All right, and then you can do what with that?
Well, we can go after them financially, legally, on a personal level once they violate their own statutes.
Right.
For starts.
Right.
But yeah.
All right, and you're gonna file a lawsuit. You're gonna file what?
We're going a different direction. It's not going to be a lawsuit. So it's too difficult for me to explain on the air.
Right.
But the other thing most people don't realize is that these for-profit organizations that are calling themselves government entities also fall under the UCC laws of the United States as well.
I think I've heard of that.
Yep, they fall under UCC, USC. So when you add those statutes and those ordinances and UCC and USC, it's almost impossible for them to not violate something, which allows us to financially go after them.
Did you ever figure out the bond situation? Do they really have bonds or not really?
We do, but their bonds are pretty much useless.
That's what somebody told me. That's not going anywhere.
Annie Cat says, shh.
Okay, why you can't talk about what you just talked about?
No, we can talk about it, but we don't want to give away the process or the method.
Right.
Because we have this action already happening up here in Citrus County, and there are people who think wrongly so, that's not going to go anywhere. So, and they've been warned.
Right. What about the stuff that you've been filing? Is that going anywhere yet?
Well, we're laying a paper trail.
Right. Did you guys actually charge a fine or anything, or no?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Did anybody pay?
Not yet. We're
Right.
laying our paper trail, but they will.
All right. There you go.
So also we have in Citrus County, which is available to anybody who would like to join us on meetup.com, which is a group app. If you look for Citrus County political groups, we have a group on meetup.com. It's actually Citrus County Politics Meetup Groups. And I will put that in the chat for everybody. You can join our meetup group, and we have movie night, we have book club. We are training people now on the documents, the notices, the affidavits, a number of other stuff that we'll be writing as well. We're training people on that on Monday mornings because we are looking to train people in other counties to do the very same thing that we're doing.
Wow. Very, very good.
It'll take some time for it to come full circle,
right?
But yeah, we are en route. Everything is on plan and on target. Our elected officials have been notified.
Right.
They have received documentation. They are choosing to ignore it. They will choose to ignore it at their own peril.
The last thing before the suggestion that I want to make before I go is. Did you guys try a preservation letter yet?
That one is not on my radar.
All right. Preservation letter is for different lawsuits. You know, I've been violated so many different ways. It's not even funny. Records violations, just free speech, slap suit, everything. It's really bad. So a preservation letter is you let them know, the city, the police, whatever. You send them a letter, attention legal. And it says, and tell them, give them the date range to keep any and all documents, emails, interoffice memos, whatever, about you or, whatever situation that you want them to keep records on. Because if you do not, under record sunshine law, they can start destroying that, I believe, only after like 2 to 3 years.
Oh, really?
And we have the emails where they're freaking out that I asked about it because they literally said that, if everybody asks for this, we're not going to have enough computer space. And I wrote back and said, basically, if you quit fucking with people, you won't have that problem. So
well, actually, that's their job, and that's what they're paid to do.
Right.
So I don't really, and in fact, I have had an elected official call me and say, do you know how much money you're costing the county? And my response was, I really don't give a shit how much money I'm costing the county. Until we have elected officials who are not compromised and who are not corrupt and who are not breaking the laws, I don't give a shit what I cost the county.
There you go. And if it'll make you feel better, my sheriff literally got on the radio like 5-7 years ago and literally told everybody on the radio, there's somebody in town that's costing us money for records. Guess who they were talking about? So anyways, it's been good talking to you. The wife said I gotta go. The street lights are on. It's my bedtime because I know it's your bedtime at 9 o'clock, Andy. So that's right. So thanks for having me on.
And don't forget to ask your elected officials, what's in your closet?
That's right.